Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show, where we break down all the major headlines that you need to know about heading into your work day, your work week, wherever the heck you're going, to make sure you're thoroughly prepared on what's happening out there in the world. We might not be the most elegant, the most sophisticated, the most proper, but we do bring you the news, and we do it in a very energetic way at 6 a.m. in the morning, baby. And that's how we do it. Mind you, we are one of the top 10 morning shows on Rumble. Appreciate everybody that always joins us to get their news every single morning. With that being said, well, heck, let's jump right into the news ourselves. And we're going to cover what the media won't, folks, and that is what is going on with crime. And Trump is trying to stop it while Democrats are trying to allow it to happen. I know, nothing new here. The Trump administration conducted the largest single-site immigration raid in U.S. history at a Georgia manufacturing plant. As the president ramps up his rhetoric against crime-ridden Democrat-run cities, which is going to lead into our lead story of the day in just one moment. On Thursday, some 500 federal and state law enforcement officers raided Hyundai manufacturing plant outside Savannah, arresting, get this, 475 people in the largest single-site enforcement action in the history of Homeland Security investigations. The raid is part of the administration's broad push to deport 1 million people per year. Now, get this, and the media won't talk about this, it comes as a gruesome, deadly stabbing in Charlotte, North Carolina has put another spot on soft crime policies. A Ukrainian refugee was brutally killed on a light rail train in an apparently unprovoked attack. The suspect is a homeless man with a lengthy rap sheet who had been released from jail without bond earlier this year. How many times have we seen this happen? And by the way, how many times have we talked about it? Because it is endless. And I would have never known, you would have never known that this would have taken place had it not been for X. And people lost it. And shout out to Elon Musk, all the content creators, the influencers on the right-hand side of the aisle for bringing this up, because the media are silent in all this. And I was told by the Democrat Party, the progressive left, that silence is complicit. That if you are silent on a matter, you are complicit in that very said matter. Well, as I mentioned in the previous article, just the other day, well, August 22nd, 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee was fatally stabbed in an unprovoked attack on Charlotte's Blue Line train by an individual, a 36-year-old homeless man with, get this, 14 prior arrests. At what point do we go, I'm not so sure this guy needs to be out there in society. He clearly can't do it. I mean, really, isn't there a conversation to be had that if you're getting arrested 14 times, that we got to start really wondering, does this guy belong on the streets at all, or does he just behind bars or some sort of mental institution? Really, that question should start arising after 2 times being arrested. Maybe 3. But 14 sounds pretty egregious. Despite fleeing war-torn Ukraine for safety, this Ukrainian refugee's death has ignited national debates over judicial leniency, urban crime, and media bias, with critics targeting Charlotte mayor for emphasizing compassion, typical, over accountability. Social media erupted with outrage, leading to calls for legislative changes and federal intervention exposing flaws in America's safety nets. So we basically were silent on this whole thing for 2 weeks, and the only reason we knew about it was because of X. The media it doesn't fit their narrative. Why? Because it's a white chick that got deleted by a black guy. But I guarantee you, if it's the other way around, if the races were swapped and you had a black dude, a black chick being stabbed by a white person, racism, Black Lives Matter would be out there burning down cities, billions of dollars again in property damages. It'd be the next George Floyd, monuments, street takeovers, everything. Look at this guy's rap sheet, man. I mean, very rarely do we get to see somebody age by getting mugshots. There's video of the incident online. I'm not going to play it because it's horrific. But how many times have you heard somebody leaving like a war-torn area and just getting deleted? You know what I mean? Or, hey, they served in Afghanistan and Iraq, like they're a veteran, and then they get deleted by, you know, some scumbag over there in like some inner city. I mean, it's all the time that you hear stories about this. It's not the first time. So people are talking about it. Yet Elon Musk posting it saying, let's change the law between now and then, name and shame the DAs, the judges who enable the schmurder, rapspi, and robbery. Now you might be wondering, Brad, why did you say those words like that? Well, because we get banned and shadow banned on YouTube constantly. Mind you, folks, we have 100,000 subscribers. You're telling me we're pulling less than 300 views? I don't think so. I don't think so. So shout out to Elon Musk for posting this, but a bunch of other people posted it, man. A bunch, including myself. You got to ask the question, why don't we see the name of the judge who released the Charlottesville killer after multiple assault charges on every single news outlet? Who is it? This is incompetence, and there should be consequences for judges who make our society less safe. Well, is it the same judge for every single one? Because I got a lot of questions here. I got a lot of questions. But this is what happens in the state of California, you guys. People always think I'm joking when there's no cash bail. You can go commit a heinous crime and you're just back out on the streets to do this to a lovely young lady that, by the way, I think was just coming from work. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So here's the stories of all the mainstream media. Oh, wait, there aren't any. There aren't any. AP, the Associated Press, 0. PBS, 0. New York Times, 0. NPR, 0. Wall Street Journal, 0. BBC, 0. CNN, 0. WAPO, 0. Reuters, 0. MSNBC, 0. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Look, this girl's just on her phone, just getting off of work. Look, she worked at a pizza joint. Just all quiet right there, and just heinously just deletes her. It's ridiculous. And at some point, it has to end. At some point, look at Axios. What a headline here. This aggravates me, man. This is it. You know, there's times when I try to be on the media side. I mean, I wrote an entire book called How the Left is Destroying America. It's called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. And if you read, there's a segment of that book, a piece in that book that talks about fake news. You know, Trump says the news media is the enemy of the people. And I didn't go as far in my book to say that because I don't think so. I think there's news outlets out there that definitely have an agenda and a narrative to push. And maybe that's sometimes anti-American for sure. But in the broad scheme of things, there's a lot of great journalists out there. There's a lot of great news stations out there that actually do great work. So I don't like painting a broad brush on that one. But look at this. Grisly Charlotte stabbing video fuels MAGA's crime message. First of all, cold-hearted. Why don't, like, it has nothing to do with what even took place here? This is crazy. This is what they post. So here's Trump hearing about it, and he says he's going to know everything about it by the morning.
Subway. Have you seen this video and do you have any reaction to it?
Yeah, and where was the subway was where?
She was in Charlotte on a light train. She was stabbed multiple times by a...
Horrible. No, I haven't heard. Okay. When did this happen?
It happened in August, but the video just came out.
I see, yeah. I see the video. I'll know all about it by tomorrow morning. Okay? Thank you.
You know... I'm not sure if I have an answer to this whole thing other than you got to start bringing back mental institutions, locking people up for longer. You know, the whole thing of like, well, our prisons are impacted. You know, there's not enough beds. Build more. Build more. One of the main functions of government is for public safety. You know, people always say, oh, well, we spend too much on defense. We need to lower the defense budget. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's the main function of government is to keep your constituents safe. I don't need to, why lower my defense budget? Why don't you lower the entitlement programs that are siphoning from our system? So why don't you build more prisons? Especially here in the state of California, we pay more taxes than any state in the union. And we can't build more prisons. We can't even build an electric. We can't even build a freaking freeway or road. We can't build a high-speed rail that China was able to do like 30 years ago. Look at this. Look at this. Wikipedia is already trying to erase it. This is disgusting stuff, man. And I'm trying my best to keep it together for you fine patriots this morning, because this makes me livid. There's few things in politics that actually get me upset. Most of the time, I find politics comedic, very similar to kind of like Michael Knowles. I have fun with it, but not when this type of stuff is happening and it put your lives at risk and the rest of society's American lives at risk. Your children's lives, your aunt, your uncle, grandma, grandparents. I don't like that one bit. And the problem is there's an easy solution to this. You don't let these people out on the street, especially after 14 priors. Okay, there's clearly something wrong with this individual. But now the editor is starting to remove stuff. That's lovely. Typical. Kind of like with that trans shooter that just deleted a bunch of kids the other day. Yeah, the Wikipedia was deleting stuff on that one too, trying to be compassionate. Oh, well, you can't call him Robin. His name's Robert, even though he changed the name or whatever the hell. You can't call him Robert, named Robin or something. Yeah, I don't need to show compassion to a guy that deletes little kids, nor do I need to show compassion for a guy that deletes a young woman that came from a war-torn country right now that's being invaded. And brutally just murdered her. I don't need to be compassionate. So this was making its rounds over the weekends right here. This clip. Let's go ahead and check what this gentleman has to say. We've seen him before. He's good.
Our empathy keeps getting used to excuse evil. And it's literally killing us. Yesterday, I showed you how liberal media ignored a black man murdering a white Ukrainian woman and the racial double standard in reporting. Today, I saw the mayor's statement. She called this a tragic situation that sheds light on problems with society's safety nets. Said the killer has long struggled with mental health and suffered a crisis. Said we shouldn't villainize those who struggle with mental health, and that mental health disease needs to be treated with the same compassion as cancer. There was no mention of the killer's criminal record. This is a textbook emotional argument. When someone does evil, we get told to be empathetic. Emphasis is placed on systemic issues outside of their control, rather than the factors within their control. We're lectured about not villainizing them. We get told to call them unhoused instead of homeless, changing the terms instead of fixing the problem. Their choice to do evil gets compared to an involuntary disease like cancer. The implication is the killer is the victim, not the villain. This manipulation tactic exploits a logical fallacy called appeal to emotion. It causes us to ignore facts just so that we don't seem mean. It creates false equivalencies, making us think that the mental health of violent people is as important as the physical safety of their victims.
He's not wrong.
The mayor said she didn't know DeCarlos's mental health record, but we do know his criminal record. Carlos was arrested 14 times. He assaulted his own sister. Under North Carolina law, he was a habitual felon. That should have meant years in prison, but the district attorney didn't do that. Instead, after yet another arrest in January, DeCarlos was held for months, then released without passing a mental health test. He was put back on the streets. And now,
Lovely.
A woman who fled Ukraine to escape death met it here. The mayor was right about this. We should have compassion even for the worst offenders. Compassion is a virtue because there, but for the grace of God, go I. But compassion without consequences is vice. DeCarlos did not face the full consequences of his past actions.
And when you don't give somebody the right consequences, you're going to get more of that thing that you weren't giving them consequences for. And we've talked about this on the Bald Brad Show for years. Legitimately, for years, we've talked about this, from the education system all the way down to the homeless crisis to illegal immigration. And this gentleman is 100% correct here on everything that was stated. And quite frankly, I'm tired of covering this stuff all the time and nothing being done, but this is what you get in Democrat-ran areas. And I'm not saying it doesn't even happen in Republican areas. It does, but at least Republicans generally are more harsh on crime. But Democrats, you can't be mean to, he didn't mean it. Oh, well, he's just tried his best. He's just out here to make it honest, No, he's not. No, he's not. Okay, this is a person that clearly struggles with something and it does not belong on this earth anymore at all. See you later. And by the way, should have been locked up, I don't know, like 10 arrests ago. How about that? Go, yeah, you know what, man? I think we've seen a common pattern here. You can't figure it out. Just go ahead and stay behind bars then, or some sort of mental institution. Just lock them up. It's ridiculous. So Representative Randy Fine will introduce legislation to hold judges accountable when violent repeat offenders they release commit new crimes. You kind of see this with what's also called the Accountability Act. And this is where we get into dangerous territory, really. Because you are going to hold somebody else accountable for a crime they never committed. So where are we going with this? Is there's the Accountability Act that you're seeing that's put forth by, I forgot what state it is, that basically says, hey, if your child commits some sort of offense in the school system, well, the parents are going to be held liable as well. This is a very dangerous precedent to set in the United States of America because remember, this country is founded on a moral people, a moral value system that was created, which is obviously the Judeo-Christian values. But when that outgrowth from those Judeo-Christian values is dissolved and evaporated or chiseled away at some point, however you want to phrase it, well, then what you need to do is you need to inject more laws and regulations into that said place that has had the foundation of Judeo-Christian values ultimately relinquished, gone, put, kaput, adios, see you later. And when those are gone, that's why you get more laws like this. And it's dangerous territory because now you're going to be held liable for somebody else's decision making. I don't agree with that. Some people do. Some people like that. But it shows you the direction we're having or going in our country, where now not only are you going to be liable for somebody else's crime, but furthermore, you are also having your liberties and freedoms chiseled away at the same time. So you're kind of getting the double middle finger here, where now the judge is going to be held liable, whether you agree with it or not. I actually don't think so. And then ultimately, you're seeing this with parents. You're going to see this with spouses. You're going to see this, such and such. For example, you might see a parent being held liable for their kid going deleting a bunch of people. You might have done everything in your power to help that kid. And now you're behind bars because your kid went and deleted somebody. And it might not even been with your firearm. Might have been with their own firearm that they purchased legally. That's very. I'm sorry. I just don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think the people that committed the crime are the ones that ultimately should be held liable for that crime. So a lot of people are going to have problems with me saying that because right now, when you see pictures like this and you're just as upset as I am, you might even be more upset. Who knows that, that emotion leads to sometimes irrational decision making. That's why I don't like when somebody goes and deletes somebody with a firearm that we start talking about, oh, well, let's get rid of bump stocks and red dots and, hand grips and, whatever. It's like, come on. And Jeff has a right. It's a slippery slope, where it's better to breathe for a little bit, come to our faculties, and see what's going on. Now, here's the other wild thing. Somebody started a GoFundMe. And no, it wasn't for the victim. It was for this dude here. So there was a GoFundMe that somebody started for the guy that deleted the woman. This is how insane. Where's Black Lives Matter on this, right? Where's Black Lives Matter stepping up going, hey, you know what? We're so sorry for the part one of our community, blah, 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 or whatever. I don't know. Hell no. So luckily it ended up getting canceled. But can you believe that? I can, because that's what's been going on for quite some time. It's ridiculous. And I think Nick sort of posted this even earlier on, where somebody posted about the GoFundMe. It's ridiculous. It's really, really wild. Doesn't surprise me either. Exactly. I see you guys in the chat. Doesn't surprise me either. So that's what's going on. And you have this from the mayor. In a statement on the Charlotte light rail incident, Democrat mayor insists the city cannot, quote, arrest our way out of issues like this, failing to mention the victim. Yeah, see, what you do is you just be broad about everything because, again, it doesn't fit their narrative whatsoever. The fact that there's always crime in all major RAND cities, that this was a black person that deleted a white person. I don't like to inject race into things. But again, when we're talking about the narrative of the Democrat Party and the progressive left, what they've been promulgating and pushing literally for decades at this point, we're just going to use their tactic then because, that's what they do. And, it's only equal and fair that we utilize it as well in the proper times. But, when you can be vague like this and put, let's see actually what she read. Let's just kind of open this up really quick. Charlotte is by and large a safe city. Cats, by and large, is a safe transit system. However, tragic incidents like this should force us to look at what we are doing across our community to address root causes. How about locking people up, you idiot? and not allowing people with 14 priors to go run rampant in the city. We will never arrest our way out of issues such as homelessness and mental health. Yes, we will. Oh, we did it before. It was weird how before when we had mental institutions, we didn't really see this problem as much. Very odd. Yeah, because they were locked up. It's sad. I am committed to doing the hard work with the county, community leaders, healthcare service and providers, and the private sector to ensure that Charlotte continues to be one of the best cities in the world and with the highest quality of life for everyone. You got a lot of work to do because you ain't even close, lady. I want to be clear that I'm not villainizing those who struggle with their mental health or those who are unhoused. I'm not villainizing you guys. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Mental health disease is just that, a disease just like any other needs to be treated with the same compassion, diligence, and commitment as cancer and heart disease. This is a wild statement that you're going to connect this to what just happened with this young lady. It's insane. Oh, it really, really is. She's just as insane. I mean, it's always the people that seem to struggle with mental health that are always compassionate with the people with mental health. I think there's like definitely some truth that needs to be had there because mental health is a serious issue. I'm not degrading it or downplaying it by any means. But if somebody struggles with mental health, why are they not in a mental health institution? Hello? I'm curious. Can we get these people off the streets finally? I think we've seen enough is enough. So when this incident happened, I spent legitimately all weekend watching videos of Democrat-ran areas just constantly being bombarded by crime. And I'm telling you, when the police are not doing anything, I mean, I legitimately, I think I watched like, it's probably around 10 hours at least of a gentleman doing interviews. I'll show you who I was watching. It's this guy here. Tyler Oliveira. But this is the guy that I was watching over the weekend. This guy here.
On here, talk to people. I don't understand the problem with that, right? We have a large platform.
It's not a problem,
yeah.
But if you ain't you just coming to expose instead of help, it's a difference.
But won't exposing it put pressure on city leaders?
The money coming here because we the Motor City any way. Other than that, we got a lot of personality here. Y'all see what's going on behind y'all.
Tensions are high. We didn't.
I watched this guy. So this guy goes to inner cities, like crime area, hangs out with like gang members and interviews them and gets information. I mean, this guy's literally being escorted by people that are dangerous, meaning they're holding like fully automatic firearms, like AK-47s. This is in our cities, by the way. So highly recommend this guy's channel if you want to see what's going on. It's very depressing, by the way. It is sad because the media doesn't cover this stuff. This guy does his own journalism. He's supported by his own people, just like you guys support me, which is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. God bless you. But this is what's going on. And these people don't want to change. These people brag about being locked up for 30 years like this gentleman here. There's a documentary on my family and, we deleted a bunch of people or whatever. They go out there and brag about it. It's a mental health problem. Get them off the streets, or they're assaulting each other in the middle of the street or deleting each other. It's unbelievable what's going on here. And these guys don't do anything. And I mean this in all seriousness. Every video I watched 10 hours of this guy's stuff, meaning at least 10 videos full. I never once saw the police arrest a single person, and they'll be like 30 people doing crack and drugs in front of him and the police. And he's the one that almost gets arrested for questioning what's going on and doing a documentary. The police want to arrest him, not the 30 people doing crack cocaine in front of them. So these assholes, and I'm a big proponent of law enforcement, big one, and you guys know that, they're not doing their job. Now, there's reasons for that as well. That also has to do with the mayor and the governor and city council telling them not to, like we see with the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department. But they're not going to arrest them. And they're open about it. So this is called a failure of the system from top to bottom. And you know what the sad thing of it all? You can't even protect yourself in a lot of these cities because you don't have a right to carry a firearm. Well, you do have, sorry, you do have that right, but they want to take it away from you. Yeah, you to protect you and your family. So these guys get to carry firearms. These guys here get to carry firearms. I want to see if I can even find it where they're showing all of them. Yeah, they get to And look at they're showing. Look at all these. The guy just pulls it out of his bag. All of them have them. Unbelievable. And then they go on like show all their gunshots. It's just one video out of many. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But it's somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Alrighty. Before we move on, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Appreciate everybody that's always tuning into the Bald Brad Show. Again, we are one of the top morning shows over at Rumble. Appreciate you. So we'll keep you up to date on what's going on. Quite frankly, nothing's going to change. The Democrats are still going to allow people to be deleted every single weekend in their city. And by the way, be deleted and then not talk about it for 2 weeks as well. Because that doesn't fit the narrative. But I guarantee you, the moment a white person deletes a black person, which is not good, by the way, that will be the flagship article over every single news site out there. Oh, the racism's still deep and embedded in this country's history. It's woven within the fabric that you can't remove. The white people are targeting black men in the streets like animals. You know, all this stupid nonsense that's not even true whatsoever. It's absolutely horrendous and ridiculous. Well, let's get into some other news here. JD Vance kind of pops off here in an interview over on what was it? What interview did he do here? It's on Face the Nation. So JD Vance says, "I don't give a bleep," goes viral with defense of cartel strike. So JD Vance on Saturday bluntly defended the Trump administration's recent targeted U.S. military strike of Trinidad cartel drug smugglers. Again, because the media wants, it's bad that anything that Trump does is bad, right? Oh, it's bad that Trump went after the cartels. I believe there's more people dying to drugs than our most recent wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now that statistic could be a little bit loosey-goosey, but it's somewhere in the realm.
I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted.
Good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted. And many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or...
Dude, I hate this look. Oh, like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking... I'm gonna explain this because some people actually miss this type of person. This is a very, very manipulative person. We've all dated women like this. We know women like this. And dude, it drives me up a wall. Oh, you don't know. Oh, well, they were vetted. Yeah, sorry. Oh, no, they were vetted. It's like, no, they weren't. But everybody knows this, right? If you watch this, everybody's seen it. Everybody's witnessed it. And it comes a lot from the Democrat Party. Watch, everybody knows this type of woman.
And that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here.
Yeah, oh, you idiot. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that, you dumbass? And yes, condescending. Krager, thank you. We have the best community. I'm telling you, you guys pick up what I'm putting down and vice versa, baby.
While he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
We'll be...
Dude, I love how she's like it just interrupts them, right? Oh, no, they were vetted.
Into our country,
These people are vetted.
Good.
These people are vetted.
These people are vetted. Yeah, it says in my paper that they're vetted. They told me to say this. The producer in my ear tells me that they're vetted. No, they're not vetted, Margaret. And how many times have we been down this road with you because you suck as a reporter? You don't report. You just inject your stupid bias. The people are not vetted. And by the way, even if they were, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. How do you track somebody that has a fake passport that was made and built by individuals over there in the Middle East that already been exposed by codenamed Superbad, Sarah Adams from the Sean Ryan podcast, that is I think she's a former CIA terrorist tracker, still does it, fabricating passports to get into a country to commit heinous crimes. How exactly do you track a guy that's under a different name from a different country, Margaret, when you just allow them to come in the first place? And even when they are vetted, they've never committed the actual terrorist attack in the first place. But some of them are on the terror watch list and still have a fake passport. How are they getting in? Oh, they're vetted. They're not getting in. God. Drives me up. People like that, man. No respect for vice president, none at all. And she wonders why people use the B word. Yes, correct. I'm trying not to. But look at this. Over the past decade, look at this. Over the past decade, hundreds of thousands of Americans have suffered opioid-related deaths. During the open border era, tens of thousands of pounds of fentanyl were seized by U.S. Customs Border Patrol, which would basically be enough to wipe out millions of people, just to let you know. It's unclear how much fentanyl made it into the country illegally. Well, Joe doesn't care. Joe's probably getting a cut of it, and his son's probably snorting some off a prostitute's back right now. Trump administration has not only closed the border and started deporting illegals, but they are being proactive with cartel members, and it's about time. And you guys know, for those that are longtime viewers, I've been calling for this for literally years. That video I've asked for time and time and time again. Granted, it was with Biden and the Houthis. I said, hey, Joe, why don't you stop just, telling them to stop doing it 127 times and just throwing some rounds off the bow? How about you just blow them out of the water and then upload it everywhere to show that was your warning. Guess what? Don't do it again. If you want to F around, you're going to find out. And by the way, our military could always use some target practice with these guys that are deleting your children. It ramps you up, man, because one of the main jobs of our government is to protect its people. Look at this. Look at this guy. Far left social media activist Brian Cranston, I don't know his last name, Krasenstein, replied to Vance, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. Had no problems when Obama, by the way, actually deleted Americans with a bomb. Yeah. No, we'll look the other way on that one. That Barack Obama, a lot of people don't ever bring this up. Barack Obama deleted actual American citizens with bombs. Don't want to bring that up. So Vance says, I don't give a bleep what you call it. The VP bluntly responded. The response, only posted hours ago, already has 1.3 million views. Oh, yeah, it's well, they deserve due process. Yeah. After they go ahead and delete. It's no different than what Barack Obama did with the Fast and Furious operation with the ATF of, well, let's give the cartel guns. And then once they commit the crime, then we could track the serial numbers to the guys in the United States that sold them those guns in the first place. Yeah, let that one sink in. Brad, hold on, that seemed backwards, right? Because you're going to let them commit the crime and then you're going to work backwards to find them. Yes, absolutely. It was crazy. In the same way here, let's have these guys bring in thousands of pounds of fentanyl and whatever drugs, delete your kids, and then we'll give them due process. See, when your kid is 6 feet into the ground and there's nothing you can do about it, well, the due process for your kid just isn't there, to be quite frank. Yeah, he doesn't get due process because he's 6 feet in the ground. But the guy that brought the drugs over, don't worry, he can't be deported. Even when you try to. Doesn't matter if he smuggled children across the border, trafficked kids to Maryland like the Maryland man allegedly did and beat the crap out of his wife and is a violent gang member. They all get due process. But when your kid is just around fentanyl, doesn't even have to be sniffing it in himself or injecting it, however they use it. Well, when you're out there in your funeral, just remember that that person deserves due process rather than getting deleted on their shipment over here. This is how the Democrats think. It's crazy. They will bend over backwards for other people trying to delete American citizens than they are for actual American citizens who were deleted. What's my point? Gee, I don't know, or at least my case, my evidence, what you just saw there in Charlotte, North Carolina, with the Ukrainian refugee getting deleted, and everybody's, oh, we got to be compassionate towards the homeless person. They started a freaking GoFundMe for the guy that deleted the woman. Not the woman and her family, No. For the guy deleted. That's how Democrats work. And yeah, I'm a little ramped up right now because it's ridiculous. And the media are silent on it, which is why I'm spending 36 minutes, maybe the next hour, covering this crap because quite frankly, I'm tired of it. And thank God we have Trump and JD Vance, Marco Rubio, and the whole bit. Finally, we have men back in the White House trying to protect our people and our children and our families because everybody deserves to be able to walk down their damn street without being attacked by a homeless person. Gee, yeah, hits a little home when I was violently, I should say violently. That's a little much. When I was almost attacked by a homeless person within mere inches from my face the other night, which I shared here on the show, threatened to kill me twice. And by the way, if that guy had a knife or a gun, I would be dead because he was within that range. Mind you, I live in one of the most safest cities in the entire union is where I live. And I live here on purpose. I pay extra money to live here, and it's so freaking expensive that I have to pay for basically security. Now, I'm not paying for literal security. I'm talking about the area that I live in. People are like, oh, you have security, Brad? No. Maybe one day the route that we're freaking going. My wife can't even run outside, and I live in one of the safest cities in the union. I can't express that enough. By the way, I saw that homeless guy again the other day. I turned around. Not going to run past that guy and be deleted for no reason. Oh, why is he out there? Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. Why don't you ask the police officers? They don't want to do their damn job ever anymore. Ever. And then I can't carry a firearm because, I don't know. Yeah, you can't have one. But that guy, that asshole can. Yeah. All righty. A little ramped up right now. It's frustrating as hell. At least you guys know I'm serious, that I'm not some paid off influencer like what's that guy's name? Brian Kassenstein or whatever the hell his name is. And people get upset with me for saying the obvious. Hey, how about you don't go delete people? Hey, how about you get the mental health off the street so they're not assaulting your children and selling them off in the forced labor? Hey, how about we don't allow illegal immigrants to run free and roughshod over our cities and our areas and take from our system that we can not even have pay for in the first place because we're $37 trillion in debt. Why is it, how am I the asshole, but not the people that are allowing this to happen? How is it that all of us in the chat, we're always called bigots, sexist, homophobes, all these things, and we're the common sense ones saying, gee, I don't want crime to happen. Gee, I want your kids to go to nice schools. Gee, I want your kids to be safe. Why don't we get criminals off the streets? Why, if the cops aren't going to do it, why don't we allow the National Guard in to clean things up like they did in D.C. so your kids can, walk to school safely. You don't have to jump over to a guy that's on fentanyl or walk through a homeless encampment where they might do something heinous to your kid, or he might just actually accidentally be next to fentanyl and get deleted. What is going on here where we are all the a-holes? I don't understand this. Or JD Vance is the jerk. Oh, you'll give them due process. God, we live in ass backwards. Unbelievable. It's almost so insane. You really, at some point, you kind of start stuttering. You don't really know what to say because it's so preposterous that this is where we're dealing, or what we're dealing with. Boggles the mind. It really, really does. All righty. Well, let's see some rebranding. So there was Cracker Barrel rebranding that took place. Yeah, that was a hard transition. That's what I said. Yeah, the trans people do it. That's another hard transition. Well, another rebranding here in the city of Austin. And it looks like it's for Girl Scout cookies. I totally forgot the Boy Scouts are not Boy Scouts anymore. Do you guys remember that? I bring it up because I went grocery shopping the other day, and there was the Scouts there, and I thought they were selling Girl Scout cookies. I looked over at my wife and I'm like, "Is it a little early for Girl Scout cookies right now?" She goes, "Oh no, those are the Scouts." I'm like, "What are you talking about? The Scouts?" She goes, "Like I said, the Boy Scouts. That's a woman. That's a girl. That's a female selling popcorn in front of me right now." She goes, "Oh yeah. Don't you remember?" I was like, "Oh, I do remember. Yeah, there is no Boy Scouts anymore. They deleted it. Gotcha." So boys can't just be boys anymore and just go out and act like a bunch of hooligans and have fun. Yeah. Everybody knows you got to, look, the men in the chat know, quite frankly, so do the women. We just act stupid sometimes. And what I want to talk about, just people in general act stupid to pretend that boys don't say wild things, and that if you were actually just with and amongst men, that if you heard the things that come out of our mouths when we're with the boys having a glass of whiskey and a cigar, that your head would spin? We always act stupid, like, oh my God, how could you say that? That's so preposterous. Like they're better than the rest of us, as if they've never been around a group of men with stogies and cigars out there in the ninth hole, just having a freaking wild ass time, buying a bunch of drinks, getting liquored up. Like, why do we play stupid all the time that guys don't say crazy asinine things? Now, when women's around, you try to tone it down a little bit. And that's what I mean here, is when there's women around, men tend to act differently. We tone it down a bit. We bring it down a notch so that you feel included. And that's what happens here. Boys can't be boys. And by the way, fathers can't be necessarily fathers around their kid and just let them, be a little bit crazy every once in a while. Alrighty. Well, we have here the city of Austin introduced a new logo. And based on the response so far, they may have really jumped the Cracker Barrel with this one. Uh-oh. Cracker Barrel will be studied in marketing and business for years to come. Austin city manager unveiled the newly designed logo for the city at a press conference on Thursday morning. For the first time in Austin's history, we will have a logo to represent the city's services and unify us as one organization, one Austin. Oh, is this it here? What the hell is this? What is this? The entire project. Oh boy, here we go. Here's your money being spent. The entire project, including payments for brand vendors and a public awareness campaign, it cost you more than $1 million, 1.1 million. I'll take you back to the that logo in one moment. The original logos for Austin had many symbolic elements, while the new one is incredibly simplified for compassion or by compassion, or Jesus Christ, I can't even read. By comparison, this led to a lot of negative comments online from people who believe the redesign is a downgrade. Austin drops $1.1 million on a logo redesign while claiming efficiency. Peak bureaucratic delusion. Residents rightly call it insane, one commenter wrote on X. The rebranding circus started in 2018 under previous leadership, proving establishment politicians always prioritize optics over substance. Correct. Oh, boy. No, it's not satire. This is a real video of the city of Austin properly unveiling a... Oh, boy. Oh, we got video of it. Oh, this is what we trained for. Here we go. Oh, they have it on their shirt.
The city will be getting a new look. For the first time in Austin's history, we will have a logo to represent the city's services and unify us as one organization, one Austin. We will go from this to this.
Look, I'm not saying this is much better, but I mean, they got the genie lamp in the middle. There's something behind that. But look at this. Oh, boy. God, it looks like some healthcare provider, doesn't it? Jesus.
While this effort began.
What the hell's going on with this dog? This dog's like, hello, my name's Fred. Jeez.
Before I arrived as city manager, it is a project I was glad to champion.
Dude, that guy does not seem happy about it. Oh, what are people saying? So in other words, Austin retired their crest for a letter. The original crest and its meaning. Shielding colors, red, white, and blue section symbolize Texas and U.S. identity. The oil lamp, here we go. Yellow lamp on blue triangle represents education and knowledge. Okay, so there's like a deeply embedded culture and meaning behind this, which I'm sure a lot of people in Austin have no idea about. I don't have a lot of knowledge even on my own flag. I should, but that's not anybody's fault other than my own. Oh, this, I mean, telling you AI does it great. That is awesome. Whoever made this deserves a shout out. So for those on audio, the Austin logo, I'm trying to figure out what you even call it, is just, it looks like a mountain. It looks like a bell curve in statistics, really. Like it's like a bell curve and then like an ogive. Some people call it ogive. And then maybe like, I don't know what this would be. And then they have the Cracker Barrel old guy leaned up against it. This is an upgrade. I say go with this one. This is good. I like this because look, it's not taking yourself too seriously. And there's a little bit of seriousness behind it. Kind of like our show here, right? The brand that we have is called The Bald Brad Show. It's not called The Brad Roberts Show. We don't take ourselves too serious here. Sometimes we do when we're talking about people being deleted. That's a pretty serious thing. But I act like a hooligan. I act silly here. It's not supposed to be overly serious. We cover the news, but we're supposed to have fun here. I'm not an intellectual. I'm not a well-educated gentleman. I'm no different than anybody else, and I'm not going to play it up like if I were to go do debates, I would win anything. No. I'm just an average Joe guy, just out here like the rest of us, trying to give a voice to conservative thought and ideas and represent the average Joe American. Okay? I'm not an elegant guy. I am who I am, which you see here on the show. Now, minus the entertainment, that's not really me. Okay, personally, I'm an introvert. You guys know that. I'm a quiet guy. So that's what we got here. Oh boy, what the hell is this? Reminds me of when New York City spent millions on bringing arts and culture back to the city after COVID. It was hard to believe it wasn't, oh, this is real?
We need a recovery that brings back the life and the heart and the energy of this city and that everyone gets to be a part of. And we're going to do that. We're going to really bring back the heart and soul of New York City. We need our arts and culture back, and we need people to see it and feel it, to participate in it, to know that that essence of New York City has not been defeated by the coronavirus, but will come back strong in 2021. Month after month in 2021, as you see the city come back to life, culture will lead the way. Open culture.
All I'm going to say, if we danced like this in the 90s or even the 80s, 70s, we would have gotten our ass kicked in school. That's all I'm saying. I'll be honest. Everybody can do this. You do not need to be a dancer. Anybody in the chat could do this, minus a few because you got health issues, but I think you could do it in your own bed. Unbelievable. That is the title of today's show. Just unbelievable. Now, the other thing that took place is there was a Karen at a Phillies game that, they all look the same. I don't know why. So a lot of you saw this. So if a Phillies fan sees his ball from birthday boy, team delivers redemption. So there's this clip of this Karen. I want to see if there's a full clip here. And she goes over and yells at a guy. I'm trying to get the full clip. I mean, there's this one here. Jeez. Okay. That's AI. That's hold on. Oh boy. Hold on a second. Let me find the actual clip for you guys. So there's a home run that's hit, and she goes and seizes the ball from a guy. Now, to be fair, the guy did run like all the way over and grabs the ball. I'm trying to see if here we go. I got the clip for you. So to break it down really quick, the ball's being hit where honestly she is, and this guy right here in the red is going to run over probably like 10 seats over to grab the ball. Now, I'm no baseball fan, but I've seen this happen a lot, and it seems like it's a culture of baseball where basically if it's hit and dropped, it's kind of free game to anybody in the vicinity. Now, I don't think that you should run over from another section practically and take somebody's area. I mean, they have the seats. So I do think this guy's a little bit of an a-hole, to be fair. So she's yelling. I don't know, and I've said this again, if you just had to close your eyes, so he gives her the ball back, but if you had to close your eyes, doesn't this just guess what party this would belong to? Just Rachel Maddow, all of them. Look at this. God. So anyways, that was a thing. So she ends up flipping him off, and the where is it at here? The the Phillies ended up giving the kid like a baseball. He got to go in the tunnel and meet the guy that hit the home run to get a signed baseball bat. Like, it was really cool that the marketing team hooked them up. Here's Sean, by the way. Shout out to Sean. You guys been sent to a show before. So everybody was ripping this woman in the morning. I mean, everybody. And people were sending stuff out. Let me see if I can find it on my own X page. People were sending stuff out of, why do they all look alike? They all look so similar to each other. Let me see if I can find it. I don't have it. But I mean, here's another one, right? You guys saw this photo last week, right? I don't know what it is with these glasses, but they all look the same. They all look the same. Let's see if I could find the image for you guys that everybody was posting about, where they said it's kind of all similar. I can't find it. The way he reacted when he touched him makes me cringe. Yeah, I don't see. First I thought it was satirical. I didn't think it was real, but it's real, and they definitely got her. Now, look. I've said this before. I'm a firm believer in forgiveness, and so I think that during times of maybe compassion, or maybe that's not the right word, maybe zealous, or not compassion, but passion, that sometimes that gets the better of us and we maybe act out irrationally. She didn't harm anybody. I mean, she did it seemed like she did touch the guy, but I think that if she were to come out, and maybe she's already done this, and apologize, like, hey, I acted irrational. You were right. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, I'm going to give the ball back. Like, send me his address. I apologize, or whatever. You know, something like that. I think it's important that we give people the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to forgive them. Like, we're Christians, Catholics, Jews, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are. You're somebody of faith. I think it's something, and I've talked about this before, I think that's something that's been left out of our society, is that idea of forgiveness. Now, forgiveness, you can give somebody, but there's still consequences behind it. I don't like that this person was blasted all over social media, just being eaten away. You know 100% that she was probably getting threats online, which shouldn't have happened. There's probably people spamming her cell phone already, all this stuff. I mean, people are animals, man. I've gotten death threats myself, and I don't even say anything crazy. Can you imagine if the entire internet's going after you? That'll mess you up, man. It will mess you up mentally. So you got to be really thick-skinned. And maybe she is. Maybe she's just so psycho where it doesn't really matter what happened. She's cool with this. So I don't know. But anyways, there is the news for you today. There is an announcement. Tomorrow we will not have Dark MAGA. I have work in the evening, actually. So we will not be doing that, but we'll be back Thursday, of course. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up as to why I have to go to work. So there's nothing I could do. I can't stream at work. I'm sorry. I'll be fired. I'll be let go. But I will miss you guys nonetheless. By the way, shout out. Thank you for everybody understanding on Friday. Make sure you follow me on X. I will post on X if I'm streaming or not. I just ran myself into the ground last week. And I did wake up for the show. I always wake up for the show. But I thought, man, dude, I'm dogging it. And usually it's when I'm that tired that I end up getting sick or something. I wasn't sick. I just ran myself into the ground. I figured, you know what? I need to sleep in. I need this. So you got to kind of listen to your body. I'm one of those that believes that, you know, enough's enough, Brad. Just sleep in for one day. You're going to be fine. So appreciate y'all. Thank you for always taking care of me and just joining the show every single morning. Appreciate you. And thank you for your understanding. So with that being said, we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for more news, more breaking news. And with that being said, follow me on all major platforms. Check out my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You can go to baldbrad.com. Again, baldbrad.com. It looks like this. And you get yourself a book right here. You just click on the link and it'll take you to my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. If you love Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Tim Pool, all those guys, The Blaze. By the way, a lot of people buy this book with Glenn Beck's book. If you go on Amazon, you will see that my book and Glenn Beck's book is linked together. It seems like we have a overlapping audience, which is always nice. But make sure you check out that book. And then we also have a store that you can go get merchandise from and get that mug for yourselves. A lot of you are drinking that coffee in the morning with me. Appreciate you. With that being said, I'll see you later here on The Will Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.